At AARP, we believe that what we do for all. We focus on issues that matter to people age 50 plus and their families. But at the end of the day, those same issues help create stronger, more livable communities for everyone. In this voter guide, you'll hear directly from candidates running for local office. These are the leaders who will help shape what our community looks like in the years ahead, from housing and transportation to public safety and neighborhood services. Because when it comes down to it, local policy matters. In fact, some of the most important decisions that affect our daily lives are made right here at the local level. Sioux Falls was the first community in South Dakota to join the AARP network of age-friendly states and communities in 2019. With a number of people aged 65 and over predicted to increase over the next 10 years, what steps would you take to ensure residents are able to access housing, transportation, and other services to ensure they can age in place?
So yes, we are going to see a lot more people retiring. We need to make sure that we get out in front of that. It's really important. There are three things that I want to do as Sioux Falls' next mayor. Focus on housing, mobility options, and good neighborhoods. With housing, we need a greater variety of housing. We have a lot of single family, a lot of apartments. There's a broad spectrum of housing in between that we're just not building right now. And also with housing, we can look at neighborhoods where there's some commercial nodes and introduce some mixed-use housing in some of those areas where it's appropriate for some of that infill development. And those commercial nodes are really important because they create complete neighborhoods where there are services, there are dining options, shopping options, all the things that people want in a city that they live in, right? So the third thing that I want to focus on is transportation. And with transportation, I want to make sure that we are allocating funding towards transit. We have something like 30% of our population or thereabouts that don't drive. It's because of their age, their income, or their ability. And so I want to make sure that the funding that we are putting towards transit and those alternatives to driving represent the proportion of the population who don't drive. Right now it's only about 12 to 15%, so we need to increase that funding. The other thing is I think we need more urban designers on staff to really be looking at intersections, making sure that they're safe, creating pedestrian-friendly environments, more walkable nodes within neighborhoods. And that's really important that we have specialists on staff that can do this. This isn't about creating policy for older adults. This is just about creating good neighborhoods.
Aging is not a policy idea. Really, it is very deeply personal, and I think that we should treat it that way. Aging in place is a right, and so as a former city councilor, I got the chance to really lead on property tax reform for aging and disabled folks. For us, it meant giving back to those that really need it the most, and so that they can stay in place. We see the costs are rising to be out of your home, and so if you're able and willing to stay, we'd like to make sure that you have that opportunity to stay there. Now that also means that we have to make sure that we have housing that fits their needs. Is it slab on grade? Is it community based? So we're looking out for our neighbors. Is it making sure that those resources are right there for them, that if they need to walk to the grocery store and be active, and there's a park there next to them. Creating that community is what's really, really important. On the sense of transportation, it's really important that our aging folks are able to get to and from their doctor's appointments. Without that preventative care, other issues can arise as well. And so for me, this is really about independence, mobility, and making sure people can age right at home.
One of the things I think we should do is start with a master plan for senior living, if you will, in our community. And that can encompass a lot of different things like the housing, transportation, safety, other things. And we could use that as a guide for us going forward. So the transportation piece is an interesting issue because it is so expensive, ridership is low, the time that it takes to travel is enormous, and it isn't convenient for really anybody. So of all of like homelessness, and the transportation is one of those pieces I'm desperate to try to fix and make it really work for people, let alone the seniors in our community, but everybody in our community should have a better system that just works better. It's a key piece to all kinds of things, jobs, all kinds of healthcare, all things considered, transportation is really key. But the master plan is probably the beginning of it all. From there, we can figure out our goals, set them, and a strategy to get there.
That's an absolutely fabulous question, and Sioux Falls is definitely that city. When it comes to our healthcare opportunities and the benefits of retiring in South Dakota, it's only going to increase. And so when it comes to housing in our community, the first thing, I've worked as a realtor in this community for about 20 years, and I've seen that need for downsize housing. And the thing that we have to look at when we're doing our development and when we're looking at that is no steps. We have to continue to increase the number of properties that we have that don't require steps. And that could be through elevator use, but also ground floor units, again, and the way that we design those. I think developers will automatically do some of that, but we can also do things with that through our zoning practices and increasing those things. It's an all of the above approach to housing in our community when it comes to ownership, rental, and then co-ops is another thing that we can get into in that area as well. Transportation is a whole other ballgame. And when it comes to transportation in our community, transit system, first of all, is something that we need to work on. We had a $2 million grant that was given to Sioux Falls, and we need to utilize that. The next mayor is going to get to do that, and that's going to come through increasing our route availability, how we get places in our community, and making sure that they're served by transportation. But the other part of that is also re-envisioning how we live in those areas, and whether or not there are bus stops, for example, that are heated. How many transfers do you have to do? On demand has really helped in that regard for people and in our communities. The less, though, that we have to worry about cars in our community, I believe the better. The more walkable communities become, the better. And I think that helps our retired population just as much as it helps other folks in our community. Making sure that it's easy to get around, that you can get your groceries, your medicine, your entertainment, all within a real close distance to your home. That's something I'll work on as mayor.
There's a lot of parts to this question. Aging in place requires access to housing and transportation and services being provided in your home instead of you going to meet those services. And all of that takes money. Well, the city can save a whole lot of money if we can change where that money is going. A lot of it goes, I really hate to say it, but a lot of the city's resources go to paying for corruption and secret deals. And that's because of election dynamics. If it takes $1 zillion to get elected, then politicians have to work for their corporate donors and not for the voters. So if we can change who pays for elections, then we can prevent property taxes from going up. We might even be able to roll them back a little bit, and that would help elderly people pay for their residences because they don't have to pay as much in property taxes. The city also has property tax abatement programs, and if you can give people more money, then they can pay for some of these services themselves, which is better than the city having to pay for them. But nonetheless, if elderly people need some help in reducing property taxes, make it easier to stay at home, then the city can arrange for that. We need to reduce the amount that the city spends on building new roads so that we can shift some of those resources toward public transportation. And that's going to help everybody. The cost of housing keeps going up, and we can change that by changing zoning to build more dense development. And that's going to help everybody, especially people who need to pay for their housing. All right, so there's a summary. A lot of things we can do, but it all comes back to money. And to change how much money we have, we need to change election dynamics, and that would help everybody, including the rich people who use government services.
Thank you for taking time to watch this voter guide. We hope this helps you stay informed, engaged, and ready to take part in building a community that works for people of all ages. Stay connected with AARP South Dakota at aarp.org/sd. And remember, Election Day is Tuesday, June 2nd.